Hi to everyone who's reading my story. I'm Amanda, your storyteller today. I'm one of you guys who had a lot of freaking trouble with my mother-in-law, Casey. My mother-in-law was very controlling and always stomped our boundaries despite being given several warnings. Sadly, me and my husband Eric were not very good at establishing and reinforcing boundaries with Casey. This meant Casey was able to manipulate and influence our lives for a very long time. I won't say that she was downright rude or hated me, but boy did she find me annoying. She did insult me and my style, but then again she did the same to her son as well. It will be difficult to list everything here, but she has done a lot of things behind our backs. The biggest example would be our wedding. Casey actually took it upon herself to change our decorations, flowers, and even our cake. Thankfully, she wasn't given the chance to change the venue because we caught her before she could do that. For the rest, we had to go with her choice or else we would have lost money. We did confront her, but her logic was always, "I know better and have better taste than you." Yes, she did have an expensive taste, but she had very little respect for others. I found it insulting and annoying, but put up with it anyway. Eric also has always been a little reluctant to punish his mom in any way. Going low contact also wasn't in his cards, so I simply tuned her out and tried my best not to let her meddle. Things were fine for a while, but Casey found another way to insert her choices and opinions in our lives. Well, you see, we bought a new house. After saving for years, we finally made the big purchase and it was just perfect. I even decorated it myself to make it more homely for us. Our house is a reflection of us, but this is what Casey said when she finally saw it. "Is this what you bought? Who the hell decorated the insides? It's just horrible." Well, Eric and I both contributed to the decorations. It's not picture perfect or Insta-worthy, but it reflects us. No. You can't decorate your house like that. It looks cheap and tasteless. Why did you even buy this place? You should have consulted me. If only you had... Well, we didn't tell you because we didn't want to consult you, Mom. We love this place and it's ours. There's nothing wrong with it. You can't go back on the house purchase, but you definitely can make changes inside. I will come by and make it better. You don't need to do that, Casey. This is our style and it's perfect for us. You can decorate your own house when you get it. We won't be changing anything. Oh, we will see about that. Guys, I didn't like the way Casey said that. She was very pushy about us making changes according to her recommendations, but we didn't listen to her for once. This was a big thing, so Eric and I both vowed not to let her interfere. She tried to text, call, and visit to convince us to change our minds, but we didn't budge. However, she got clever with her ways. Eric and I took a mini vacation to another state to celebrate the house purchase. We had been saving for years, so we hadn't taken a trip in a while. We had some leftover cash, so we decided to make the best of it through a vacation. Our house was supposed to be empty, but our neighbor offered to keep an eye out. He was a good man in his 60s and very friendly. He gladly offered to call back if something was fishy. We weren't expecting anything to happen, but imagine our surprise when he called and said that he saw 3 women getting into our home. Immediately, we were alarmed and asked for more information. The description of one of the women matched my mother-in-law, so we called G straight away. Eric and I were confused and annoyed at the situation and needed to know what was going on. I called Casey and said, "Casey, what are you doing at our house? I know you went to our house and brought some people with you. Our neighbor told us." "Well, I'll be staying here for a week with my friends. There are only 3 of them, but don't worry, there won't be any wild parties or anything." "But we are not even home. Why would you bring your friends along when we are not home?" "Oh, I'll keep them entertained. You don't have to worry about that. We wanted to spend some quality time together, and your new house needs some sort of security. Consider this as us house sitting for you too." That is a good way to look at it. There have been some major break-ins in our neighborhood and people have been pretty spooked. Yes, exactly, Eric. I heard about them too. I know how much money you spent on this house. I don't want anything to happen to it. Besides, your wife has bought a lot of stuff. You wouldn't want them stolen now, would you, Amanda? Casey was making a point, but I actually didn't like her tone in the end at all. It made me very, very suspicious. From the way she talked about house-sitting, it was clear that she had been planning this for a while. Besides, I didn't like how she randomly showed up with friends when she knew that we were not home. Something wasn't adding up. Unfortunately, she had a key, so I am assuming she had already let herself inside the house. Thank God my neighbor had seen Casey and called me immediately. I doubt she would have called us about her plans if our neighbor hadn't informed us. Thank God for small mercies. But I was saying my thanks too soon. Something was nagging in my brain. I said to Eric, "Eric, to be honest, I'm feeling very uncomfortable with Casey bringing strangers into our home. It's very odd. I can't seem to wrap my head around it." "I know, Amanda, it's very odd, but I don't think we have much to worry about. It's a good thing someone is house-sitting for us. That way we won't have to be worried about burglary. That's one thing off our minds." "Yeah, I'm not worried about that anymore. But now I'm worried about your mom. You know, she has a habit of stomping boundaries. This is one of them." I understand your frustration, Amanda, but there's nothing we can do from here. Let's go back home and talk to Mom again. This time, if she does something stupid, there will be consequences." I was glad that Eric had said that. He did have some problem with punishing his mom. Casey raised him single-handedly, so I understand the sentiment. But she was now getting out of hand. Eric must have realized that as well. He seemed keen to finally do something to make Casey understand that she was being a witch. Eric's assurance calmed me down a little, but not completely. I was still anxious. My worst fears were proven to be true when our neighbor called us again the next afternoon to say, Are you guys still on vacation?" "Yes, we're still on our vacation. My mom and her friends will be staying at the house to keep it safe. They'll have a quiet time and won't disturb you. She promised to have no parties." "Really? But I think something is going on at your house. I tried to ask your mom, but she gave me a nasty look and walked away. I think she might have guessed it was me who told you about her. She doesn't seem to be too pleased with me." "Oh, yes, she definitely figured that out. I think she didn't want to be seen, let alone reported by you. Anyway, now I am panicking. Tell us what's going on there." "Well, there is a lot of noise coming from the house. It's not like music or anything. Seems like someone's making renovations or something." As soon as our neighbor said that, both Eric and I froze. This is definitely concerning because my mother-in-law's words were still fresh in our heads. She hated the way I had decorated the house. She had a ton of complaints about how we were tasteless and needed to use her help to make the house better. She had stopped pestering us just after she learned about our mini vacation. Now it was starting to make sense, but we needed more confirmation. Eric said, "Are you sure that there is renovation work going on? Maybe they're in some sort of trouble." "I highly doubt that, Eric. I've seen people come in with deliveries. They seem to be for interior decoration. Also, there have been a few shelves here and there. I saw your mom and her friends come out and bring the stuff inside." "So you are sure they are interior decorating items?" "Yeah, actually I think one of your mother-in-law's friends is actually an interior decorator. She worked at my sister's house a month back. I knew she looked familiar. I'm sure it's her." That was all we needed to hear to know what was happening. My damn mother-in-law was renovating and redecorating our house without our approval. I wanted to cry when I thought about what she was doing to my beautiful house. Eric looked really panicked as well and didn't know what to do. We thanked the neighbor for telling us and informed him that we didn't permit Casey to redecorate our house. It was all a mess. I was freaking out and told Eric, "Eric, this is just unacceptable. We need to do something fast. I am cutting this vacation short and going back. I don't think I can continue this anymore." I too want to go back right now, Amanda. I'm so sorry for what my mom did. I never imagined she would end up going behind our back and doing this. This is just insane. She even got her friends involved. Eric, I don't know how to say that, but I'm going to call the cops on her. I will tell the cops to conduct a welfare check at the house because I'm suspicious of what is happening there. I want to stop your stupid mother from doing more damage to the house than she already has. Oh, God, I really don't want to call the cops on Mom, but I see no other way. Let's just do it. This is the only way to stop her from doing whatever she's trying to do. I immediately took Eric's approval and ran with it. I called the cops and told them to conduct a welfare check on the house because our neighbor had been hearing loud noises. I didn't tell them what I suspected, but I did tell them that my mother-in-law and some people were staying there. The cops took my request seriously, probably because of the burglary cases that had been happening recently, so they conducted a welfare check at the house and the result was devastating. The cops called back and told us that the house was a complete mess. The drywall was in the process of being taken down and there was dust everywhere. My decorations were ruined because of the renovations and my mother-in-law didn't bother to pack them properly. Some of my stuff was missing from the house when I went home to check. Those surprises came later when we went back home. From the pictures the cops sent us, it was clear that my house was a mess. I had the worst breakdown of my life right there. Eric was furious and told the cops to stay put. He took the phone from me and said, "Officers, I didn't give my mother permission to work on my house. I can see that she has done some extensive damage to my property. I am not okay with this at all." "Well, this is very unfortunate, sir. From the mess we're seeing here, I can guess you have lost a lot of money. Would you like to press charges against your mother for destruction of property?" Yes. I and my wife would both like to press charges against my mother. You can arrest her and put her in jail. We'll come down today to file a police report. All right, sir. I'll go ahead and press charges on your behalf. Also, I will send you more pictures of your property. Do you have anyone to house sit for you here? Yes, my wife's sister will be at the house until we come back home. We will take the earliest flight possible. Thank you so much for your help, officers. My husband handled everything like a champ. I was still bawling my eyes out while cursing my horrible mother-in-law every name in the book. I was devastated when I saw what she did to our new house. Eric was also very upset, but was calm enough to make sure his mother wouldn't get away with what she did. After everything, I was barely in the state to do anything. Eric booked our flights back and we left as soon as possible. Eric and I landed in our home city and drove straight to the police station. There, we filed a report and submitted the pictures of our house before Casey destroyed the interior. The cops were horrified and told us that we should sue her for good. I was freaking furious and was out for blood. I was determined to give Casey a good lesson. We decided to meet her at the police station because she was still in jail. I was going to reveal her fate to her and watch her burn. When she saw us, she said, "What is this nonsense, guys? Why the hell am I in jail?" "You have absolutely no shame, Casey. You were still asking us why you're in jail. You freaking destroyed our house." "Oh, I didn't destroy anything. I was doing you a favor since you have such bad taste. I bet you would have been thrilled when I was done with my work." "Mom, have you gone insane? Do you even understand what you have done?" No, my stupid mother-in-law was still behaving as if she had done nothing wrong. As if she hadn't just destroyed our house and made us lose thousands of dollars in total. My blood was boiling at her feigned ignorance. She was so entitled that she thought taking the axe to someone else's property shouldn't be punishable because she had good intentions. Well, I don't call that good intentions at all. Casey actually said, "Come on, Eric. You know I was only trying to help. It's not a big deal. I know you feel the need to support your wife, but her tastes are just hideous. I would have made your house into a piece of art, and I was doing everything for free." We clearly told you to stay the hell away from our house. How did you think you have the right to do what you want with a house that doesn't even belong to you? Who are you to judge my tastes in interior decoration? You literally messed up our house. God, stop being so dramatic. If you just calm down and let me out of this horrendous place, I will fix your house and make it better. This is just ridiculous. You will be glad to see what I do. No, absolutely not. You are never setting foot inside our house again. You will stay in jail because we are pressing charges against you for the destruction of property. You are going to pay for this, Casey. Casey's eyes went wide when she realized that I was dead set on pressing charges against her. She was now slightly shaking, clutching the rail sail, and looked at us in panic. She knew that there would be hell to pay, so she turned to her son for help. She said with tears in her eyes, "Eric, do you hear that? Your wife is threatening to press charges against me. Look how cruel and ungrateful she is. I was trying to help your house look presentable, and this is how she responds." My wife is right, Mom. She has every reason to press charges against you. Eric, what? What are you saying? You heard me, Mom. Amanda is absolutely right. You destroyed our beloved house only so that you could make it like you want. You have been stomping our boundaries for so long, and I let you off without consequences. Now you go ahead and do this? You have taken things too far, Mom. I can't forgive that. Eric, you need to think straight. You can't put your mom in jail. If you don't want to go to jail, you will need to pay us for the damages. Let me warn you that this is a lot of freaking money since you have done a lot of damage. We have everything documented. Casey started to cry when she heard that part about paying money. She did have the money, but paying us would mean that she would lose a significant amount of money from her savings. She never expected us to sue and make her pay for everything she had done. Now, being careless and entitled wasn't going to help her anymore. Those two things landed her here in the first place. She knew that she had to change tactics to get out of this mess. She cried and said, "I don't have much money, guys. If you take me to court, I will have very little money left." You should have thought about that before destroying our house, Casey. Now, crying won't do you any good. You will have to pay what you owe us. Can't you show me a little mercy? I only did what was best. No, stop right there. You only did what was best for you. You didn't want to do anything for us. You have always been this way. I should have put a stop to it sooner, but don't worry. We won't give you the chance to strike again. We are done. No, Eric, please don't say that. Look, I made a mistake. We think it's a little too late for that now, Casey. An apology, genuine or not, will not make a difference. Just like your tears. Casey started to cry hard and apologize. She tried her best to use her words and tears to melt us. But we had made our decision. There was simply too much damage done to the house and the relationship. There was no going back. We left Casey there while she tried hard to talk to us. We left the police station and went home. Casey got out after getting bail. Now, if you think she would stay away and give us space, you are wrong. While I was back at the house crying over the mess, Casey showed up again. I really didn't have the energy to deal with her, so I let Eric handle her. Her husband did a great job of explaining our boundaries again, and this time telling her to stay the frick away from us. Casey cried and begged again, but that didn't work. We were determined to make her pay. The house was in bad shape, but not unlivable. So we continued to stay there before we got the money back through the courts. Well, the case went to court and Casey had to pay a shit ton of money to clear her name. She barely avoided jail time, but had to pay my lawyer's fees as well. The judge was seriously annoyed at her and gave her a good verbal lashing. That made Casey cry again, but we didn't care. She had that coming. Remember the friends that she brought along? They instantly dropped her, and so did the rest of her friends. They didn't want to end up in her crazies and decided to keep their distance. After the dues were paid, Casey showed up at our door one more time. She was in tears again and said, "Guys, please don't be mad at me anymore. I already went through hell and paid the price. I have very little money now. I can't afford rent and groceries together." That's a shame, Casey. I guess it's time to get a second job or something. Good luck with that. What? I'm a poor old lady. How will I work such grueling hours? Eric has stopped sending me extra money as well. Yes, you heard that right. Eric had been sending his mom extra money as an allowance. He had been doing it for years, but he stopped after she destroyed our house and got arrested. He had no intention of ever giving her money again. We already discussed that before Casey showed up. Casey really missed that money, I think. I knew she would bring it up someday, and she didn't disappoint. But Eric was there to hand her butt back to her. He said, "Welcome to the real world, Mom. Here, you get to pay for your horrible actions. You needed a reality check of how things go on in this world. I made the decision to cut your allowance because I have seen you grow entitled." Eric, please, it's been a while since everything went down. Look, you even managed to get the house back in shape. We can just forget what happened in the past. Maybe I can stay in the guest room. Whoa, Casey. Hold your horses right there. There is no way you will ever set foot inside this house. Why do you think you are standing outside? You need to let me in someday. I'm your mother, Eric. You won't ban your mother from your house, right? Yeah, about that, you were banned from the house, and we will be going no contact with you for a while. You have created plenty of trouble in our lives. We need time to heal and then decide if we want you in our lives again. Casey couldn't believe what Eric had said. She really didn't want to believe it. But what happened in the last few months proved to her that we would do what we say. She actually went on her knees and wept. It was pathetic, but we knew better than to fall for her tears. We told her to see her own way out and close the door. It's been over 5 months since Casey showed up at our house. We have temporarily blocked her number. Life is finally peaceful, and I don't feel judged all the time. I have also seen some positive changes in Eric's behavior, and he seems more carefree now too. Hopefully, we will jointly come to a decision to limit contact with Casey and finally have the life we always dreamed of. Pray for us, guys.